Hello everyone, my name is Mr. M. Today we are going to learn how to solve quadratic equations by factoring. So go ahead and complete the intro activity first. Be sure to pause your video while you're doing it. Come back once you're done to check your answer. So the factors are binomial r plus 8 times binomial r plus 8. So how did I get these answers? So what I want you to do is to check the link inside the description box where I'm going to share to you how to factor a quadratic trinomial by crisscross method. This is the work that you will see in that video. So we are not going to spend our time in showing how to factor quadratic trinomial by crisscross method. Now let's go to the steps. So I have 4 steps here that we are going to follow as we solve the model problem, right? And it says here, solve the equation r squared plus 16r equals negative 64. So let's take that out and let's follow the steps. So step 1, it says be sure that the quadratic equation is written in standard form. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a, b, c are real numbers. But the hint here is that it's equal to 0. One side must be equal to 0, and the rest of the terms must be on the other side. So if you notice here, I have a quadratic, but it's not equal to 0. So what are we going to do? We need to add 64 to both sides, right? Now that's going to be r squared, bring that down, plus 16r, because you cannot combine these two, they are not like terms, plus 64 equals, so this becomes 0 now. We're done with step 1. It's in standard form. It's equal to 0 and everything, all the terms are on one side of the equation. And you have the quadratic term, you have the linear and the constant. Now, step 2, it says factor the quadratic. Do you recognize this quadratic trinomial? It's from the intro activity. So what are the factors? It's r plus 8 times r plus 8. But it's not enough that you write the factors. It has to be equal to 0. When you take the Regents exam, if you don't put equal to 0, you will lose a point. Alright? Now, that's step 2. Now, how about step 3? It says split the factors and equate each factor to 0. So that's a fancy way to say that I'm going to write down r plus 8 here. And let me fix that. Another r plus 8. Again, this is the first factor. This is the second factor right here. And what does it say? Equate each factor to 0. So r plus 8 equals 0. Now, let's solve each one of them. One factor at a time. And it says, solve for the value of the variable by inverse operations. What does it mean? We need to isolate the variable. In this case, it's r. So take away 8 from both sides. So r is equal to negative 8. And the second part is, obviously, it's similar. They're the same, actually. So take away 8 from both sides. So r is equal to negative 8. And so these two values are called solution. Or another name for it, roots. These are the roots of that quadratic equation. Now let's have the second model problem. It says solve q to the second power minus 3q plus 1 equals 2q minus 5. Now again, be sure that the quadratic equation is written in standard form, which is, again, everything, all the terms on one side it's equal to 0 and the exponents are descending. Okay, now what do? We take away 2q here. We're going to write down that under 3q, so 2q, right? And also, we are going to add 5 on both sides. Now, what do we have? We bring down q squared, and this is negative 5q. That's plus 6 equals, this is 0. That's 0 also. Now it's in standard form. Now step 2. It says factor the quadratic. How do we factor this? Now if you're going to check the link below, that's my model problem number 2 in that video. And the factors or the work is here, right? So the factors are binomial q minus 3 times q minus 2. So going back to that problem, so the factors are q minus 3 times q minus 2. Again, you need to put equal to 0. That's step 2. Step 3, we need to split. So I'm going to write down the first factor, q minus 3 equals 0, right? It says here, split the factors and equate each factor to 0. And the other factor is minus 2 equals 0. Now using the inverse operation, we add 3 to both sides. Q is equal to positive 3. Now this one, I add 2 to both sides. Q is equal to positive 2. Now it's your turn to practice. Go ahead and complete these 2 problems. Be sure to pause your video while you're doing it. Come back once you're done to check your answers. And the answers are those. But if I may emphasize, be sure to show this part of the work, okay, for you to get a full credit. Otherwise, you will lose points if you don't show them. Now let's have another set of problems. Go ahead and complete them, pause your video, come back once you're done to check your answers. And the answer here is right there. And again, be sure to show this part of your work to get a full credit. How about question number 4? Let's go over with this together. Again, step 1, it says it should be in standard form. So we take away 28 from both sides, right? So we bring down 2x squared. Now they are not like terms. I'm going to write down 10x minus 28 equals 0, right? Because this crosses. Now, if you notice, all the terms here are divisible by 2. So what we could do is to divide each of them by 2. Even this, right? That's the principle of equation. So 2 divided by 2, they divide out. So we'll just bring down x squared. Negative 10x divided by 2. That's negative 5x. Negative 28 divided by 2, that's negative 14 equals 0. Now, this is already in standard form, but we just want to simplify the equation further. So this is also in standard form. That's step 1. Now step 2, using crisscross method, we're not going to show that to you. You will end up with x minus 7 and times x plus 2. Again, you have to put equal to 0. And these are the roots of the given quadratic equations. Thank you for watching and learning with me. Be sure to click the links below inside the description box for additional resources so you can practice and learn more. Please take care of yourself and each other.